These kids will fall asleep. You think?
Daddy, take them off.
Should I take them off? Why? Nobody's watching anyways. So, are you going to show your little baby off, Carly? Carly's got her baby doll this week. She's got the Blood, Sweat, and Tears onesie on. Like we'll be giving to Orville for his baby. In case anybody was wondering. Orville and Sam had the baby on Monday. So, not this one. This is just a baby doll.
Yeah.
Just so you know. Alright, are we ready to jump and go? You guys ready?
Yep.
Alright. The date is Sunday, March 6th, the year 2022. My name is John Molden. I'm the owner at Blood, Sweat, and Tears Concrete. I'm here with my co-hosts, Carly and Magnus Molden. And this is No Crying in Concrete. For our second episode, we're going to discuss what your concrete warranty covers. So, Carly.
Yes.
Do you know what a warranty is?
Maybe something that a business or a crew could do a project for someone and possibly mess it up, and then they can either replace it for either cheaper or for free.
That's a really good answer, Carly. That's really super awesome. According to Merriam-Webster, is defined as a guarantee of the integrity of a product and of the maker's responsibility for it. So that's pretty dang close, right?
Yep.
So, what do you think a concrete warranty should cover, Magnus?
3 weeks.
3 weeks? As far as time goes, that would be pretty good for me, for sure. But, you know, really good actually. But concrete only has a few issues that normally trigger a warranty. Cracking, settling, and spalling. Cracking and settling are the most common in Arizona. So let's start with cracking. Have you ever noticed the cracks in our driveway, Carly?
No.
You never noticed them?
No.
We do have cracks in our driveway, believe it or not, but we also have a lot of rebar in our driveway. So the cracks have never opened up. They've cracked there, stayed there. You notice them more when it's wet, because they hold that wet line, but you really don't notice them any other time. So oftentimes when cracks occur, it's because too much water was added to the mix. This causes excessive shrinking. The more water that goes in, the more water that has to come out as it dries, shrinks back more, you see more cracks and bigger cracks. So why else do you think concrete might crack, Magnus?
Because the mix might be wrong, or it could probably be melting.
Melting? Okay. Yeah, actually the mix being wrong is definitely one that can cause cracking. If there was an error at the plant or something like that, you could see lots of different problems. A big one is like improper grading, where the slab gets poured too thin. We've had that happen before, where we've graded in one direction and streeted in another, and it got a little too thin and it cracked there. Plant mix errors, like he was saying, that's definitely one that can cause cracking and lots of other problems. Carly, what are some of the things the crew can do to make sure concrete doesn't crack?
Make sure that there's rebar on the ground under the concrete, and make sure that there's not too much water in the concrete mix.
There you go. Very good answer, very good. So a few things that we do, that pretty much everybody does, we put joints in the concrete. You always see the lines in the concrete every so often. They're actually there for the cracking. It's supposed to crack there. If we put enough of them in, hopefully that's the only place where it does crack. but a lot of times it'll still crack in between somewhere, and that's where your rebar really becomes important. We always have to make sure we've got proper thickness, plenty of joints, proper compaction of the subgrade, and then reinforcing properly installed with that rebar grid like Carly was talking about. And I hate cracking, but we don't replace sections just because they crack. We do everything we can to eliminate cracking, but sometimes cracks just happen. We replace sections only if a crack opens wide enough to fit a dime into within your warranty period. Fine cracks are cosmetic, and they don't really qualify for replacement. So the next thing to consider is the settling. Magnus, have you seen the guys use the plate compactor on the job?
Yes.
How does that go?
You have to like stand behind it, and it's like a big fan.
Not really, but
Oh.
the one that they walk behind that vibrates, you know?
Yeah, that one.
Okay. So I know you've seen it out there a few times. It's kind of noisy. It vibrates. It shakes the dirt. Settles it all into place. Improper compaction is what most often leads to settling. If your concrete pour settles, it will most likely crack as well. Carly, do you remember when we dug that big hole out front to fix the plumbing?
Yes.
If we had poured concrete over that without packing it, what do you think would happen?
It would definitely settle, and it could definitely crack.
Exactly. All that loose dirt just wouldn't work well with it.
Nope.
So it is important that if the ground was disturbed, let's say you had a tree taken out, if you had some plumbing work done, whatever, if a deep hole was dug, you let your contractor know, because they have to get in there and properly compact that ground so you don't get that settling underneath there. And then they can bring the right equipment to make sure that can get that done. So your warranty will include replacing concrete sections that have settled only if they cause a drainage problem, a tripping hazard, the crack opens up wider than a dime, or if it was designed for a structure to be built on, making it difficult or impossible to build on. So Magnus, do you know what it is called when the top peels off the concrete?
No.
You don't know what that's called? It's called spalling.
Spalling.
Spalling. And the spalling that we're talking about is basically where the top of the concrete is chipping, flaking, or peeling away for one of many reasons. Your worst case scenario in this is called concrete cancer. And concrete cancer may show up as a deterioration of the concrete surface at first. It's going to affect the whole substrate at some point in time. This is also known as alkali silica reaction, ASR. And it's a chemical reaction within hardened concrete. So it can occur quite a while later. Carly, do you think there is any sort of cure for concrete cancer?
Possibly.
Think so? What about you, buddy?
Yes.
You think so? So the only cure that I know of for concrete cancer, and you can correct me if you know something different, but from what I've understood, you have to remove it and replace it. What do you got, bud?
I was just about to say what you said, but...
Got to remove it and replace it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. That's all you can do. There are other reasons the top peels off, though. In cold regions, too much fly ash added to the mix, or if the concrete is improperly finished, the top will flake away. Magnus, who do you know that does concrete work in the cold regions of the United States?
Uncle Dude.
Uncle Dude in Minnesota. Yep, he sure does. And so he knows all about cold weather concrete pouring. and all about fly ash too, for sure. So here in Arizona, there's only one main culprit for the top peeling off concrete. One above all else. I mean, there's some other problems, but it's having to splash water on the surface as a finishing aid because it's so hot and miserable that you can't keep up with the concrete. But you know, we try to avoid that. We do use, you know, like acceptable finishing aids instead. But there's a lot of it that goes on in Arizona for sure. And what it does, it dilutes the part of the slab at the very top known as the cake. Did you know that concrete had cake?
No.
Would you have tried to eat it if you did?
No.
Okay. Good. That's good. That is the finished surface. That's what it's known as. In the Midwest, your surface will often fail during the first winter, but in Arizona, the spalling normally doesn't become noticeable until the 2-year warranty is already expired. If you receive a 5-year warranty, any sections affected will be replaced with your blood, sweat, and tears concrete warranty. What other reasons do you think we might replace someone's concrete, Magnus?
If it starts to melt.
If it starts to melt. If it starts to melt, if your concrete melts in that Arizona heat, we will definitely replace it for sure. No question about it. There's going to be more problems than that if it melts, but we'll definitely replace your concrete. Now, if we've done work for you and you're wondering if your concrete has a warranty issue or not, you know, if you see a puddle in the wrong spot, or if there's just something you find really ugly, it never hurts to at least call and ask, bring it up, and you know, see if we can do something about it. We stand behind our workmanship at BST, so if we screw up, we do want to, you know, make sure you're taken care of, for sure. So I think that pretty much covers what the warranty covers for your concrete here in Arizona and a few other places probably. But does anyone have any questions tonight? Did Paul clarify on that?
So Paul's question was, why do you dowel into my existing concrete?
Well, we dowel into existing concrete only if it's an exterior concrete. So we'll never dowel into like the house foundation, because the concrete that the house is sitting on is going to be expanding and contracting at a different rate. So we're going to put expansion joint along there. We'll put a polyethylene expansion along there. But if we're tying into an existing driveway or an existing patio that's outside in the same sun, we'll dowel into it to keep it from ever getting uneven. And that's kind of how that works. So, what else did he have about the, was that the expansion he was talking about before?
He said, what is the gray stuff or black that you put into my existing concrete before you put the new concrete?
Okay. So that's what he's talking about, is the expansion joint. That's a polyethylene. We use either black or gray. And if we're doing house foundations, garage foundations, anything with a controlled environment inside of it, we'll put expansion along that foundation before we pour up against it. That way it can expand and contract at its own rate. Anything else you got there?
Paul's got some other thing.
Paul's been writing down questions, huh?
Why do you have your kids answer questions that the public should answer or ask?
They like it.
What is fly ash?
Fly ash. Let's see. I actually wrote down the actual definition of fly ash from the ACI. The ACI concrete terminology. The definition for fly ash is the finely divided residue that results from the combustion of ground or powdered coal, and that is transported by flue gases from the combustion zone to the particle removal system. That would be the ACI concrete terminology. Now, the John Molden terminology would be a waste product taken from a smokestack that they get rid of in the concrete. That's the John Molden version. What do you guys want to talk about? Any questions? Got anything you've been wondering about with concrete?
What do you have to do to the concrete in Minnesota?
You mean that's different than here?
Yeah.
Well, you can't finish it nearly as much because it's got air entrainment in it, and if you work it too much, you'll get a seal on the top, and the top will peel off. So you gotta be careful with how you finish up in Minnesota. Down here, you can finish the heck out of it, and it'll be just fine.
Any more questions, anybody? So, what does the warranty thing look like for our business?
Well, that's what I was just talking about right here, you know. There's a warranty that is, I guess, enforced by the Register of Contractors in Arizona. And we go above and beyond that warranty, so I don't worry too much about it. We go a minimum 2-year warranty, and we give the option of a 5-year warranty on most things. When we replace things that most people would never replace, because, we like to have fully satisfied customers, and we don't cry over, little. If we have to replace a section of concrete here and there, it doesn't bother us as much as it bothers some other people, I guess. But,
anyone more have any questions?
does that answer what you were asking?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if that's it for questions this week, I guess we'll have to say thank you for taking the time to watch. We will be back next Sunday from the Backyard Kitchen answering questions you didn't know you needed to ask about concrete. Remember, there is no crying in concrete other than the tears of joy brought about by a job well done. Say goodbye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching.